Everybody, happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Still just kind of nibbling into the long list of things that came in via email and or were written in as comments on other videos. And I wanted to talk to you today for the option crowd, and that is, you know, theta doesn't matter. Just going to say it straight out. Some of you are making the mistake of trading 1 or 0 days to expiration options. I think that's a fool's game. You don't give yourself enough time. You're likely doing that because your account is small and you don't want to have to put up the extra premium that's represented in the time value, and or you feel like theta is too big of a concern. Now think about it. Theta definitely decays over time. It looks like this, boom, goes to zero, and it's guaranteed to happen. But if you're day trading or swing trading, you're really not in the trade. And again, this is for people who have debits or net debits, right? So you're buying calls or call spreads, you're buying puts or put spreads, or you're doing some type of multi-wing strategy that ends up with puts or calls where there's a net debit, right? So that's where that could be painful. But, that really happens over, weeks, right? So the question is, how can you buy the option far enough out so that although theta is there, if you're day trading the option, to me, theta doesn't exist because the volatility that you anticipate in the underlying in the direction of the move, right? If you're long calls, you want the stock to go up, right? So, obviously going flat and going down, you'll lose money. And if you stay in the trade, theta can become an issue, but right, the move, the underlying, the implied vol, the thing that you want to have happen to the underlying security, that should be many multiples of what you think the theta decay is going to be while you're in that position. So I think you're overcompensating for a boogeyman, especially if you're trading like weeklies. You're going to be in and out of those names so damn quickly that to me, theta is not an issue. And I know theta it is something, like it is there. But because your holding period, the time frame, the time that you buy something, right? Because again, we're talking about debit balances. So the time that you buy something or the structure and sell it is so fast, it's kind of like you're not in the trade long enough for theta to do a lot of damage to you. If you're doing and using options as a surrogate, right? Because you're looking at stocks like Nvidia or anything that might be several $100s a share, and it's easier for you to buy a $25 call option than to buy 100 shares of Nvidia stock, then I get it. Then it might be something different. But we're not speaking about using options or leaps as surrogates for the underlying security. We're talking about people who are trading options, puts and calls. So I would let that go and think in my mind, because my holding period is between 0 to say 3 days, the theta should not be an issue for you in terms of real material decay. Granted, if you're doing things in the short term, like this isn't a great example because today's Thursday, but say like Monday you put on a weekly trade that's going to expire a week from tomorrow, yeah, then it might be an issue, but you're not giving yourself enough time, right? You're not giving yourself enough time. Right. So to me, it's like I would rather pay for that time value, knowing that theta is there and that, yes, it will decay. But if I'm buying stuff that's longer than, say, I don't know, pick a number off the top of my head, more than 3 weeks, to expiration, you'll really see the cataclysmic stuff at the later stages of that. There's plenty of graphs online where you can go and look that up and kind of see the literal effect of theta and what it looks like on a graph. And while it does decay and benefit credit, option traders, you're not in the trade long enough for it to really matter for you, right? That's the practicalness of it, right? There's probably a scientific answer where we could really look at the numbers. But at the end of the day, from a practical matter, don't get hung up on that number when it's really not statistically significant or really big enough for you to really worry about, you see? Because, obviously you wouldn't be in the name for trying to make 1 or 2 points. You want to try to be in, right? You people, you want to be in the trade to make big moves. I get it. But it drives me nuts when people are like, yeah, I'm trading spies. I made 40 cents. Like, this is working class mentality, right? Like, you should be thinking as a white collar person in this job, not like a short order cook. So expand, people. Please expand. Like if you're in a winning trade, let the thing work for you. Let it work for you. You'll get paid more money than you probably deserve to make at that point. And all you have to do is stick with your winners. And yes, once in a while, your winners will break even. Once in a while, your winners will come back and take out your initial stop. But here's one thing I can promise you, and I want to look you in the eye. You're never going to make any money if all you do is take consistently small gains. You're going to tread water. And chances are, when you do hit your losing streak, you're still going to end up a losing trader after having done all that work. You can't make money by taking small gains. And so, when you're in fear, you can come up with a million creative ideas of why you want to justify your behavior. Buying or buying shorter dated options because you're, afraid of theta, to me, is actually going, taking it in the teeth, because that's when it's even worse. You have no time for the thing to work out for you. Anyway, it's just a mindset game and something to kind of ponder, to think about from a practical, common sense kind of standpoint. I know there's a lot of moving parts to options, so typically I like to keep things very, very simple. But I wouldn't just look at theta and say, because of theta, therefore I don't buy directional trades with puts or calls because of the theta, and or I don't hold them overnight. Right? That might be myopic or very short, small-minded thinking. So think about that. See how, when you look at your trades, you can see the math for yourself, right? If you'd like, please follow up. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. Obviously, this is oversimplified, right? I'm only talking about the effect of theta for people who are trading in very short windows of time. I know you can come up with a million other examples of where it does matter. That's the straw man argument, though. That's not the point we're making here. I don't care about that. But I'm answering the question the way it was asked to me by someone who has really small and short holding periods. So let's focus on that and see what we can come up with. That'll really help the community, especially for those of you who might have had to think about this once before, because I don't have all the answers. I just have the answers as they relate to my own experience, right? Anyway, appreciate you all being here. I'll see you tomorrow.